Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, opinion, folks. It's Mal Away Drug Page, aka the Emperor of Female Vitamin Talk, coming to you live on YouTube. Well, folks, oh, another week down, another week to go. I mean, folks, it's time flying. We got a couple more weeks till Thanksgiving. I know y'all people, y'all excited. And then another month is Christmas. So anyway, folks, before I start this, I want to say congratulations. Congratulations. As you know, we had quite a few shows, but as you know, I do focus on the shows that, most definitely give the opportunity for women's bodybuilding to get represented. And one show that was on Saturday was the Steve Carr show. And I want to get a shout out to a lady who's I met and who shot me out, and that is Ashley Lynette Jones. Congratulations, Ashley. She won the women's bodybuilding title at the Steve Carr show. As you know, Ashley's already qualified for the Olympia, so this is a good win for her because this has been a long time. The last win was New York Pro back in 2024, and now she wins this show, but she's going into the Olympia already number 2 in the world. But wish her best of luck. Next up is also a lady who won the second time in the remaining Muscle Fest is Anastasia Korbaleva. Now, Anastasia, she did pretty good. I mean, she won this title last year, but the thing is, here's the problem. She needs to get some visa issues settled before she can do the Olympia because she didn't make it last year because of issues with a visa. I hope she does get that straightened out, by the end of next year, where we do get to see her do her first Olympia. Again, if you can't make the big show, you shouldn't be competing. That's my opinion. You got to you really stand the way you're holding up, especially for women's bodybuilding division where there are so few shows, so few opportunities. And also, congratulations, one lady. Her name is Jessica Macedo, if I got her name right, and she's from Brazil. And this was her pro debut, and she won her first Olympia show in a pro debut. Amazing physique, amazing muscle. I mean, she's a young up and coming competitor. She beat out at least 2 Olympians. That is last year's champion, Carolina Alvarez, and also Paul Ranta, who were second and third at the show. I mean, congratulations. It was a decent lineup. It was like 11 ladies at that show, I believe. A couple ladies making their debut. One lady I know, Robert Faulkner, was making the debut at the show. And also, a lady I follow, Farrah Farakova, was making Farrah Faulkner was making her women's bodybuilding debut at this show. So, congratulations to her and to all the other competitors at this show. So, anyway, folks, you know, it's always a thing about I'm a fan of bodybuilding, and we do talk about the subject of the sport, but also how it affects like modern society, especially when you look at things like movies, television, Hollywood. I mean, there's a kind of thing, there's kind of standoffish about it, but still, they still often, present it every now and then. You have one of the, I would say, most popular all-time documentaries in the history that is Pumping Iron 2. If you remember that movie, it was a documentary. It was like basically it was a sequel to Pumping Iron, which starred guys like Arnold Schwarzenegger, Franco Columbo, Lou Ferrigno. I mean, a lot of the guys were in it. Guys were coming up. I think Frank Zane was in it too, I believe. I mean, very much the very popular guys in the good part of the, I think, what about the mid 70s, I would say. Remember that scene in the bus at the end of it where Arnold and Lou are sitting, and you got to remember Lou was a big dude too. Arnold both were big dudes, but Lou was a little bit taller. They were sitting there, took off the jackets, and he like, it'd be funny to put little Franco Columbo in the middle. So anyway, folks, I have my usual suspects. First off, here I have here my young nephew, here my man, Alex here in the building. Welcome, Alex.
Hi, good to see you.
And we have here my brother, but he's a hater. He's a hater. My man KL the Wanderer.
What's
Hey,
going
Gail,
on,
good to
everybody? How you
see
doing,
you.
Alex?
Yeah, me and Kara sometimes talk about this, about how bodybuilding kind of seeps into things like media, from TV to movies to comics. I mean, it's even though sometimes Hollywood don't like the idea of women bodybuilding, but still, every now and then you see it in like movies and stuff like that every so often.
Yeah, I noticed that too. Yeah, like they, I think it it stood out at certain point, but it at a certain point it just didn't stand out if it don't make sense. Like people don't really like focus too much on it because they don't really like the like you said, they don't like the idea of women having muscles or in a way I kind of understand it because maybe it's not that look that they want to they looking for, you know. One bodybuilder that stood out for me, I've shared it was Corey Everson, like you would see her like in movies and TV, although she ain't started nothing, but I think she had that presence. I seen like a movie like years ago, it was called Ballistics. She wasn't even the star, but she just you seen the presence of her. She just stood out. That's the best way I could put it. But I would see like in cartoons and stuff like that. Not her, but female muscle in cartoons and stuff. And it was like they just didn't really focus too much on that. So
Yeah. Corey Everson is a legend. She's been a multiple-time Miss Olympia. Her one of her big movies that really got to when she did the movie Double Impact with Jean-Claude Van Damme. She was a henchwoman.
yeah,
Also, here's this where she's with Kevin Sorbo in the movie Hercules: The Legendary Journey. She played Olympia. She was I think she was a what was her? She was I think a
Athena.
blacksmith.
Yeah,
No,
she was. I
Olympia.
think so. Athena, one of them.
No, no, it
I
was
don't know.
Olympia. It was Olympia because that was his character's
Olympia.
name. Yeah, Olympia.
Um,
And yeah, she was a blacksmith, and she was kind of strong. She was the guy that she had a little crush on Hercules, but Hercules he just didn't push on it. There was that one guy who that had a crush on her. Actor was named Robert. He passed away some time ago, and she did some other stuff here. Did also her sister Cameo. They also were in a couple of TV shows and movies together. I remember there was an episode of Bristol County Junior. Did an episode of Renegade with Lorenzo Lamas, and that was back in the '90s. I mean, she had a great look. Here she is with Dolph Lundgren, and Dolph Lundgren, that's a pretty big star. That's we really people forget his really first movie appearance was in the movie A View to the Kill with Roger Moore and Grace Jones, because Grace Jones was dating him at the time. They were dating, you know. But yeah,
he was in that movie.
he played one of the Russian henchmen. He didn't have any speaking lines. He just like was
Oh,
a
I
more
gotta
of an
look at
extra.
that again. I
Yeah,
will.
yeah, look at yeah, because he's originally from Sweden, but he was playing a lot of Russian roles. Like you remember the movie Red Scorpion? He was a Russian
Yeah,
soldier, and
I don't think I've seen that one, but I remember him.
yeah, but yeah, Corey was just another level, and also you can't forget the first Miss Olympia herself, and that is Richard McLeish, because back in the day, you know, she was one of the stars of one of the most well-known uh, biographies, actually documentaries. That was the movie Pumping Iron, which came out in the early '80s. As you know, it was a story about women's bodybuilding. It was the year with a show called the I think it was the Caesars Cup, but they called it the Vegas Pro, and she was competing that year, but she wasn't doing Olympia because she was focused on her career. And later on, she did some other stuff like she was in the Iron Eagles movie. She also did a movie called Raven Hawk. She made some TV appearances here and there, but I heard last time when they were bringing back women's bodybuilding to Olympia, they wanted her to make an appearance, but she just kind of distanced herself from the sport.
Yeah, I noticed that she was saying like on an interview that she ain't really like how the women look at times, taking certain things and you know.
hmm Yeah, I think everybody has a thing about it. Oh, we have some guests here. We have a man here, Josh Simpkins. He says, "What's good, everybody? Very good,
Oh,
brother. How about you?"
Good.
Also, he says this. He says, "I remember Tegan Clive was in a lot of movies too." Yeah, I remember Tegan Clive. Tegan was, I don't think she ever turned pro, but she
Who's
was in
that?
quite.
I ain't never heard of that.
Well, Tegan Clive, if I can find her, if she's still around, Tegan Clive was a bodybuilder, and she did some movies here and there in the '80s. She did a lot of straight to home video stuff. Also, she did a movie with John Candy and Eugene Levy called Armed and Dangerous. She worked, like I think she ran the club or something, or some kind of, no, she was an instructor at the in the gym. And there's a scene in the movie where uh, Eugene and John go visit Tiny Zeus Lester, who played like, he was one of the security guys they were looking at, and they went after him. And there's a scene where she's fighting her and two other female bodybuilders, or they're probably bodybuilders. They were fighting, but it's a not a it's a slightly well known movie. It was very popular in the '80s. Meg Ryan was in it; she had a role in it, and a few other actors. But yeah, it was John Candy, and Hugh G. Levy. So so it's just over time. I think it's a kind of love hate relationship between Hollywood and women with muscle. I mean,
Yeah, show the picture of Tegan Clive. You got me
I
running.
let me see if I can find it. That's the thing. I gotta
Okay,
find it.
all
She's gotta. Hey, calm down, boy. Calm
right.
down, son.
I just
Yeah,
put me.
son. Calm down. Take a breather. Take a breath. But yeah, it's a kind of a love hate relationship when it comes to moving muscle. And over the years, I think it's a little bit more of a tolerance. Like, remember when the movie came out? When they put out the Terminator movie, Terminator 2, everybody was talking about Linda Hamilton, her arms. How
Yeah, I was going to mention
they were
that.
like,
Yeah, I was going to.
go ahead.
Yeah, I know. Linda Hamilton was quite
Mhm.
something during the sequel. Like, okay, she wasn't like very muscular, but she was for the averagely muscular for the time. Like, naturally trained for the role. That was like a game. I think it was like a game changer at the time compared to other female action stars like Ripley from
At the
Alien
time,
or
she was.
something. You
Yeah,
know what
there
I'm
was a
talking
woman in
about?
that movie. She was a Spanish actress, and yeah, originally it was the character was supposed to be played by. They offered the role to Rachel McLish, but I think she turned it down. I don't know the details of it, but Tegan was. I just pulled something up. So just for my man here, because he's aggravating. He's so excited to see Tegan. So, and this is Tegan Clive, and she was a good part of the '80s and some more of the '70s. And I think she used to be friends with the late Kay Baxter. This is a little scene here from the movie Getting Physical. This was
Oh,
her.
that's cool.
It's a little scene. It was her and a couple of ladies. It's featuring John Candy and Eugene Levy. Yeah, you know, I don't want to play the sound. You know how it is today. But Tegan was very
Very
made
cute.
his leap.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. She did quite a few movies during her career. Some I think there was a movie where she played a cyborg that was out to kill some alien or something. Yeah, I forgot the name of the movie. She did some
Mm.
kind of post utopia. Was very popular in the '80s. Those post utopia movies. And here is she was in the video with one Mr. Daly Roth. The video Just a Gigolo. It was her and Kay Baxter in the video together.
Oh,
You
okay.
know, yeah.
Yeah.
Davey was a big fan
Oh
of
yeah, he
bodybuilding,
did.
also
Yeah,
women
there
body.
was certain women bodybuilders in music. There was always certain number of ladies in music videos. I think there's definitely some I did look up online that had some of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quite.
Yeah, that's true.
In fact,
Yeah.
Chelsea, if you forgot, Chelsea Dion recently did appear in a music video with Sabrina Carpenter.
Oh, that's wow. I didn't know that.
What did you?
What Chelsea?
I thought you knew. I remember
No,
she actually did.
no.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, Chelsea Dion. Well, it's only for a brief cameo, which is what I expect from current music video makers nowadays. She had fun on the set regardless. So
I remember a while back I interviewed a lady. Her name is Victoria Bums. Who got something on? I'm hearing like reverb. It sounds
and
like
yeah. What else?
Maybe it's my tablet or something. I
Now,
don't know.
yeah.
yeah, yeah. You
I
might
do
want to
have
put it
this.
on mute.
I have this found this YouTube content creator named Gawar, GWAHHAR. He posts like anything female muscle related from movies, TV shows, cartoons, and video games and music videos. They're like in shorter clips, to give you better context of of a certain muscle moment in anything. I mean anything.
if you get the link, share it, and I can post it up here while in the like. So we
Yeah,
have him,
but this
man.
guy has over 1,000 of them. Like some are from famous cartoons, like
Does
SpongeBob,
he have an
obviously,
IG
Fairly
or
Odd
kind
Parents.
of?
There's the
Does he
Simpsons.
have a? Alex, he has an IG or something? Does he have IG or like he's on IG? Or is he on Facebook or something?
He's a YouTuber. YouTuber. He just
Well, you got his link, share it so I can maybe post some of the stuff. We have here a man, BC Royce coming through. He's from California, California, the place I want to be. Yeah. And he's an artist, and he's also a fan of
Your
more
mic
leaner
is
muscle.
muted.
Oh, really? Oh, cool. Nice to meet you, sir.
Yeah,
Can't hear
Brandon,
you.
I don't hear.
but
We can't hear him.
can't hear you. Can you hear? You? Say something.
No, I can't hear.
Yeah, we can't. We'll give him straighten out. Right here, we got shots of a man. Raheem Hamilton. He says there was a female bodybuilder in the movie Ace's Iron Eagle 3. That
Yeah,
was Rachel McLish.
yeah.
Yeah, that was Rachel McLish. Also, this is for a man. Josh Simpson says, Linda Hamilton had a build that today's bikini competitor got. Yeah,
I
actually,
guess. Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, it was definitely ahead of its time. I'll give you that. Yeah, that is a good. That's a good observation. I'll give you credit for that. That's a good point. Really ahead of its time. I like that observation.
yeah. Well, I think now compared to bikini competitors now,
She
they're
did
way.
once. I think. Did anyone see the last time they made a Terminator movie? She actually did come back as Sarah Connor one more time. Like, and she
I
actually
think
did some training for the role too, despite her age. Like, I think she looks pretty good for her age. Actually,
it was that very last one. People said it really sucked because of the fact they killed John, and people didn't like it doing that. I mean, it really kind of disappointed a lot of fans.
tried
Oh
to
yeah,
well,
yeah. I remember that Terminator. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
because
try to
it
fix it.
took.
Try to
They
fix it.
gender they gender changed it. Like instead
Yeah,
of John
was
Connor was another chick. She's supposed to be the new savior. They changed it around. Like John Connor wasn't the savior no more. Yeah, it was this chick, this girl in
Yeah,
the last Terminator movie. They
yeah.
should
Also,
leave that alone, man. I'm like, they just messing that up now. Like, I think they supposed to do another one. Are you kidding me? Like, you
well,
really?
at least they
yeah.
spared the
I
Genesis.
mean,
Really,
one.
that changed too much of what happened.
Yeah. BC, you okay? Can we hear you now?
We
Something
still can't hear him.
you can't see it. Something might be. He's not on mute because I'm looking at his. Wait a minute. He's not on mute. So it got to be something. Either you got some headphones or earbuds. Use those because that could help you. I don't know why it does that sometimes, but yeah, plenty of ladies. You know, over the years had. I think there was a real. I think right about. Like Angela Bassett when she did. She played Tina Turner. Was
Yeah,
the love guy with
Can
you?
y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we
yeah.
can hear you.
Yeah, well, we can't see
Okay.
you.
Hold on. I'm about to get back on. I hate technology with a passion. Oh man, I hate
But
technology.
Who doesn't?
Um,
it's
I got a
difficult
couple.
to adapt sometimes. I'm 32 years old, and sometimes I don't understand some phrases people are saying nowadays. I feel like I'm a decade behind. Nice to meet
Well,
you,
I have
sir.
a nice to meet you too. I have a
Uh,
couple corrections. Well, one correction. I'm not from California. I'm from
oh,
Dallas, Texas,
oh,
and I've lived here now for the last 7 years. So I'm not
oh,
a Californian. I will
oh.
always
Okay.
reject being called a Californian.
I'm sorry,
Um,
son. I'm sorry, son. Because I mean,
uh, Yes, I live out here. It's good for my art and stuff, but no, I'm true Texan.
Nice,
all right.
Um,
nice to meet a
but
fellow
what?
artist. I draw too. I've been drawing. Been doing a lot of drawings lately for the athletes.
Yeah, because
That's what's up.
Alex was at the Olympia too, and he had a draw. Was it? He had a group of the ladies who competed in women's bodybuilding. He got a lot of pretty much most of them signed it. That's pretty good.
Yeah, Dasanga was the only exception because I thought she was competing, but it turns out no, she's saving it for next year. So
Yeah, she's competing next year. But anyway, I think as one of the biggest documentaries about women's bodybuilding was Pumping Iron. That came out in the early 80s. And it also was a debate about muscle and femininity. But like people like Richard McLeish, Bev Francis, Carla Dunlap, it was I've seen it plenty of times, and it kind of gave a different look when you saw women in this different shape. You look at someone like Richard McLeish, who has great muscles, very beautiful, very elegant. Um, Carla Dunlap is an amazing lady. I've been a fan of hers a long time. And Bev Francis, who was just a total another level. You know, if she was competing now back then, she probably be women's physique, but not women's bodybuilding.
You know
But
what
she,
stood out for me in that movie? One of the female judges didn't really approve of her look. She did not like her look at a certain point. And
Screw
then
the judges. Screw the judges.
they put her what, like in eighth place, and she did good in the show, like, but they just didn't approve of her look. So, they put her like eighth place, and they put other people in front of her. So,
yeah, but
Bro,
that's
the judges
that's
have it messed up, in my opinion. They don't reward always the most beautiful, the woman who has the best combination of beauty and muscularity. Like it's a balance more so with women than when you're judging men. And I think the judges tend to only judge based on how muscular the lady is versus considering that balance.
Well, sometimes it's different depending on the judges and features on the show. Just had a show where we had a lady who was very massive. That's Anastasia Kovaleva. And you had a couple ladies who probably looked more physically, aesthetically pleasing, but they went with Anastasia. Some judges in some regions going to be different. You look at someone like Ashley Jones, who just won her show. I think she's a beautiful lady. She has a great physique. She has a great look to her. And you look at someone like Andrea Shaw. It's always going to be different with the judges depending on who's the judge at these shows. But yeah, I think it should be rewarded for great presentation of muscle and of beauty. But if remember, there was a movie years ago. I remember when I was a kid. It was called Getting Physical. Now it came out in the early '80s. It's come on. It was on CBS, and that was back then when CBS used to do their own original movies. They didn't, sometimes they play original movies, or sometimes they play blockbuster hits that came in theaters. And it starred Alexandra Paul. Remember her? She was on Baywatch. She was the one of the original. Was she? No, I think she came on later on the show. But like with, not like David Hasselhoff, and I think Pam Anser, who was the first actors on there. But she came on when the show left from NBC to syndication. Well, she did a movie called Get It Physical, and I'm going to pull it up here because and it's about a young lady who she after being mugged, she found bodybuilding, and she became a competitor. There were quite a few professional female bodybuilders at the show. Not just there was Rachel McLeish was in it, and I think Mary Roberts, a couple of others. This is a little clip from the movie. I'm going to play. I'm not going to here's good. Give me a second. And it's like I said, one of those movies that really was kind of was different, and here it is. This is the part where they're getting ready because this is the judging part. I think it got a lot of attention because you had these women. This is what women's bodybuilding was. Just Rachel McLeish right there, showed it real quick, and some other ladies I think I recognized. They were like in the early '80s. It was a totally different look compared to what we see now.
Yeah, they're making it too extreme now. And I was just looking at this. I had never heard of this Anastasia Korableva. Like to me, that could be a man. Like I know I'm gonna catch some flack, but I'm gonna call a spade because I don't like it when I see the trends starting to jump into women's bodybuilding. And I've seen it a few times at shows. I'm not saying I know for a fact she is. That looks her build and thickness and all that. She looks like a dude.
you're not the
So
only one. You're not the only one.
and that's why if these judges, so a lot of these judges, if they're based on pure masculinity and muscles, and especially they're rewarding the dudes for being super muscular, and a lot of the judges tend to be homosexual, so they're going with what they're most attracted to, at least the male judges. They're going to, when it comes to females, when they start judging the female bodybuilders, they're going to start judging them as if they're judging men. And so if you have trans come in, and like I was saying, I don't know if this is a trans or not, But if you have trans competitors start coming in, they're going to start winning and doing great at these shows because the judges are basing them purely on muscularity versus the whole feminine balance that we were talking about. So I just think I'm gonna be the bad guy, the big bad wolf, and start calling that crap out because I just don't think it's right. And I know a lot of people
Well,
are afraid to because they think they're gonna get canceled.
well, the thing is, for one thing, they try to cut it off. They have to be wants that their competitors to be full female because I know Anastasia's not a trans because seen stuff and hear stuff, but that's the thing is that it's about the a sport. And if you have people like people like Natalia Coelho, you have people like my girlfriend Andrea Shaw. You have some amazing women.
But but those are not trans. Andrea Shaw, you can tell. Like
Yeah, yes.
I've seen her several times in person. She's super masculine. She has gotten super big, but you can tell she's still a woman.
Here's the thing about masculinity. It's not about appearance. Masculinity is about behavior. That's the thing is, even though she has muscle, she's like I just talked to my friend Eunice. She's a generally nice lady. It's about attitude and behavior. Some women say they can be masculine, but that's something that it takes time. It's like people say you look like a man, but looking like a man is not the same as being a man. It's about behavior, how you
What
act, how you
about
move.
what about men that look like a woman?
Well, then those are
We say they're
not
feminine. We say they're feminine.
feminine.
Men who look like women, we say they feminine.
But most of the time, those are just like we call them. Where I'm going, we call them pretty boys. That's
There
what-
ain't no pretty boy.
Nah,
It's
that's different. A pretty boy is
that's
different. Like
Yeah, that's what I'm
like
saying.
like like no homo. Like so a guy like Nelly is considered a pretty boy, but he's not feminine.
he's
Like
not feminine.
um that's that's I feel like sometimes things get conflated. Just because someone looks good, it doesn't mean they're automatically feminine, So
Well, that's the thing. There, femininity is on the eye of the beholder. It's how well you see it, or how you perspective to be. Again, Andrea is one of those examples. Quite a few ladies, but some of these ladies are really preserve. They try to preserve the femininity as much as they can because it's a tough sport. The guys get a little more leeway because men, we can grow muscle, we can get big, but still, they also get their prejudice because there was, I think, if I can play it, it's if I can find it. It's something I saw a while back, and it's if you ever this is something I remember. It was from an episode of an old TV show I used to remember as a kid, and it had one of the future Miss Olympia, also and also um, one of the biggest stars around. He made a guest appearance on the show. It was called The Dating Game. It came back on it actually started in about the 70s and it kept up to about the 90s, and we used to watch it because we go on there and you want to, meet a guy or a girl, you date him. And Arnold Schwarzenegger was on the episode years ago. And he was trying to pull it up. What's going on here? I'm trying to see if I can get it up. Give me a second, folks. Talk among yourself while you're listening to me. And there
uh
was, he was on there, because it was a very popular show, and he was a very popular guy at the time. He was a Mr. Olympia, Mr. Universe. He was just a few years before he started getting to his acting career. I think it was right before he did the movie Hercules, New York, I believe. And it was like in the see what we've got here. It's got to pull it up here. Give me a second. Where there was he was on a dating game, and he was getting asked questions. Let's see. Sorry, where is it?
while you're pulling that up, I wanted to echo one of the things KLA was bringing up earlier about the whole them turning the main heroes in some of these legacy movies into women. They're doing that on purpose because I think they're trying to. It's almost like rage bait, where they're trying to get a bunch of men pissed off that you replace John Connor, you replace Luke Skywalker, you kill off all these considered great movie heroes and then replace them with these. A lot of times it's obnoxious women. It's not even that they're really heroic. They're like perfect at everything. I feel like there's rage bait, but I also feel like there's some social programming going on where they're trying to train women to believe, future generations of women to believe that they're just naturally better and superior and stronger than men, as well as trying to make men not see themselves as heroes anymore in these movies. They're trying to kind of like demoralize young men. I don't know if it's necessarily working because it's, this stuff has only been going on for the last 5 or 10 years, and we don't know how it's going to affect the future generations just yet. But I do think that it's propaganda and programming, and it's been doing so much with all these movies recently, especially where they have these girl boss heroes. Like it's annoying because even girls don't like these characters, like especially grown women. Like my mom hates a lot of these new women that they push out because she can see that they don't earn their powers or their abilities, and they're just mainly meant to show women that, oh, look, I'm better than men at everything. It's like a feminist wet dream. So
Yeah. One of the movies that kind of what people think about is Aliens with Sigourney Weaver, where it was, she was a star, but that was that movie. I think it works for that movie at that time. But other movies, it doesn't work, especially if you like, they just did the new Fantastic Four movie. They swapped the Silver Surfer for a woman, but there was
yeah.
Galactus did have a female.
Silver Surfer in the
He's
comic, but
he's
not
an
for
actual
that long.
character from the comic.
It
Yeah,
wasn't
It
too
wasn't
bad
wasn't
though.
what you
I
thought it
seen
was.
it.
No, it was actually the Silver Surfer in this new movie. She's actually real. She's actually they based her character from an actual character. They didn't do that thing again. At least they were doing their research this time.
It wasn't too bad. I'll give it
I
that.
didn't care to. I didn't think it was that bad in the
No, I saw. I
Fantastic
saw. I,
Four.
I think it's the best Fantastic Four movie I've seen in such a while. A very straightforward, very simple movie. I really think we haven't. I miss having seen movies like this.
yeah. I think it was.
I was like, I thought it was okay. It was probably the best Fantastic Four movie, but compared to a lot of other great Marvel movies and even DC movies, I just was like, okay, this is okay.
Yeah.
Everything's been hit
Where
and miss for me every time
It was
I
better than
every time I bring the
Superman.
MCU up. It's always been don't ask.
where
Oh, that
Don't
here
tell me.
Superman was
is
better.
If you want to talk, if
where
you want
here
to talk about some
is
good radio, talk to my brother. He's an excellent person. He will definitely have some good commentary about that. But
here is the
Trying to stir up some drama, asked the women what they thought of Arnold's muscles. To his surprise, the women expressed distaste for Arnold's body. One woman even said she preferred the host's pigeon chest to Arnold's. Always one to enjoy a good verbal sparring match, Arnold couldn't help but respond. With a sly grin, he says, "Yeah, but look where it comes from. I have 20 beautiful women a day chasing me at my hotel for sex. Do you think if this woman moved to the same hotel, 20 men would chase her every day?" The room fell silent as Arnold had just trashed the woman's looks and bragged about his sexual conquests on live TV. But Arnold hadn't finished and now turned on the women's husbands as well. "I think some of these women are afraid to admire my body because their ugly husbands are at home watching them on TV. Remember, unfeminine women are uncomfortable around masculine men, and some of these women are abnormally career-oriented." And with that, the talk show host cut to commercial break and the audience was left in shock and awe. Arnold Schwarzenegger was once again...
Yeah, I remember there's a part in the because I remember there used to be a show
this is
called
the same guy. I can't believe this is the same guy who's what he said about the late women's bodybuilding recently. I can't believe what he just said.
wait, this is nothing new about Arnold. He's always been like
Yeah,
that. It's
he's
just that.
never liked muscle. He's never liked muscle women.
But I remember that actually they didn't show the part where the lady when he asked we said somebody who was a bodybuilder and the lady said that usually they said that guys that are bodybuilders are small. So she said, "No, it's not the truth. It's not true. It's not true." It was funny. We got here. I think we got a couple of guests pop in. Let me see. I just heard let me see. Let me see. I know what it's saying. Why are you acting up? We got a couple of guests that popped in. If I can get them up here. We have here Raheem Hamilton. Welcome,
Oh,
Raheem.
Good to see
Radio
you.
Yeah, what's
Raheem,
going
what's up?
on? What's going on? What your fellas talking about tonight?
You
We're
know how movies
Uh,
portray muscle women nowadays. You know how it affects society. that type of subject.
Well, here's the situation. As you know, today it's not talking about. They're not talking about women's bodybuilding in Hollywood. Actually, they just going woke. That's what they're doing. And
Yeah.
Hollywood right now is in a restructure phase, so there's not even focused on bodybuilding. So, I mean, um, there was plenty of opportunities for female bodybuilders in general to be in movies, but again, after the 80s and early 90s, they just focused on the sport, and that's it. So when you focus on the sport and not trying to put your sport back into mainstream, the mainstream people will forget about you. Like I said, you had little bodybuilders here and there in the early 2000s, doing movies. Well, other than that, that's it. I mean, there's nothing more they could do. I mean, you got to have these athletes that represent bodybuilding to go into the movies. Like I said, I've been preaching this thing since I've been on George's show. Is that if you want to promote your sport and you want to get bodybuilding back into the mainstream, that means your star or your top athlete has to be out there and to promote it, and which is movies, music videos, whatever. But if they're not doing it, guess what? Yeah, you just call it's just few and individual. And then you also forgot about the Barbarian Brothers. They was highly big in the 80s as well. It wasn't just Arnold Lou, it was the Barbarian Brothers. No, DC
Yes, I
Cab.
remember.
They had their own
Yeah.
movies and everything in the 90s. So the problem with this sport in general is you got athletes, male and female today, who's confident, but they're not really confident. What I'm saying is that they want to bitch and complain about the money and how they're not getting paid, but you got to understand, in order for you to uplift this sport, you have to be out in media, like you're talking about Hollywood and everything. Right now, Hollywood's in a restructuring phase because the whole woke stuff is not making the money. They're rethinking their situation, who they cast. Like I said to you guys, if you watch Captain America, the last Captain America movie, you had a woman that was barely 5 feet, she was not even 100 pounds, beating the crap out of guys. And wait, female bodybuilder, she should audition for that role. That would be more believable than that woman. But again, yeah,
But
missed opportunities, and you can't. You know what I'm saying is, right now, the athletes gotta stop complaining because the thing is, you want the money, but you not want to do the work. How is it that you still want to be in the dark, but you want the fame and fortune? That doesn't make sense. And then what bothers me about it is, here's the thing: you gotta clean up. Now, when I say clean up, it's not just the drugs, man. F the drugs. You gotta stop. All these shorties gotta stop doing only. Let me tell you why. They gotta stop doing OnlyFans because my thing is this: what are you going? If you want to girls and little kids look up to you, then you gotta stop doing that because guess what? Then when the media goes in, that's gonna be the next issue. They're gonna be like, they're gonna pass by the whole performance enhancement stuff. They're gonna be like, well, we saw you on Cornhub, we saw you on this, we saw you on that. So you saying that we get to bodybuilding, this is what we gotta be doing. They gotta clean that whole stuff up, bro, and then
But then,
focus on getting back into Hollywood, and then doing
but
all
then
that stuff. This is a lot of
also
work.
then,
uh,
also with that, Raheem, I know MMA fighters that do on Pornhub, not Pornhub. I mean OnlyFans. Also, OnlyFans sponsors fighters. It's a
No
business,
sports
yeah.
should do.
and
No sports should. Let me tell you something. No sports should be doing that,
But
George. Truth be told, it should be no sports in general. That's what I'm trying to tell you. How you going to have
yeah.
a? Like I said, we're living in a day and age where anybody can Google you. You know what I'm saying? I want to use a female Bible as I know she's not, or she don't compete no more. I can go, oh, Yvette Bova, boom, boom, boom. How many? Why is he more for competitions or is he more for porn?
Well,
I'll
porn,
say
not
this,
looking.
man. I'll say
Okay,
this.
okay. This is what I said. You gotta clean up. You gotta clean up, man. You gotta. This whole industry gotta clean up, and then you could talk about bringing them back into movies. Because my thing is this: you're scared of how society sees you, but you go to the front of the camera for a different thing, and not for something that's positive and doing movies. It's a backward sports, man. Backwards thinking.
What I want to say is that I think Hollywood does not want muscular women or female bodybuilders in their movies either. Like it's a two-way street. I think the definitely muscular women. I'm not going to continue to harp on female bodybuilders because I think their personality type tends to be very much more standoffish and introverted anyway. But in terms of just muscular women, because Hollywood could probably go cast a bunch of muscular women to actually play those roles where Raheem was talking about, you see these 5 foot girls beating up 250-pound men, flipping them all over the room and stuff. I just don't think Hollywood wants to put muscular woman on
I will.
screen
I
that
will have to disagree. I want to disagree with you with that. You know, I want to say that. Hear me out. The problem is, you got to remember this. Bodybuilders don't look like bodybuilders all season. Remember, Arnold don't look. If you watch any of Arnold's movies besides him working out, he doesn't look. He's muscular because he is working out, but he doesn't look like he's a Mr. Olympia on stage when you see his movies. Because guess what? Certain roles call for him to tone it down. You know, some roles say, "Oh, we need him to be muscular a little bit." You know what I'm saying?
but
So, like,
I'm
okay,
saying
Vigo all
more
the way.
than
When he
just
did Vigo
female
all the way, he was
bodybuilders.
told.
I'm
But
saying more than female
but I'm
bodybuilders.
getting to.
It's got to
I'm
be
gonna get.
muscular women, like the
No, no, I'm getting
athletes.
to. I'm gonna get to it.
There's a
This shit.
lot more than just bodybuilders.
No. I'm getting to. I'm let's get to my point. What I'm saying to you is this: the problem with female bodybuilders in general. I'm not gonna say athlete, but female bodybuilders, like you said, there's no personality. If you have a female bodybuilder with charisma, this is what I'm calling on: the charisma, the confidence. Yes, Hollywood will look bypass her masculinity. They be like, oh, she's a cool chick. Wow, she's really funny. Oh man, you know, she just like how she's confident, like how Arnold's confident. If you get one of those females that's confident and be like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna go to audition after audition until I get something. Trust me. One producer's gonna be like, oh, I like her. Like there's a Joe. If there's a Joe, there's always gonna be a Joe Silva out there. An action. Oh, we need her for this action movie. I really like her personality. She's very confident. Trust me, they will get cast.
Where
It's
we
about you going in.
here got a
Well,
man here,
also
Johnson.
female bodybuilders tend to be very stiff. So one of the things they're actually
Oh, he
Uh-oh.
froze up. I think he froze up. Oh, we had Josh Simpkins just in the building. Hey,
Hey, what's
Josh.
good? What's good,
Hey.
Empire Nation? But anyway, uh, I'm old school. I like seeing the bodybuilders go on talk shows and doing stuff for kids like Denise Rosowski and you got Sandra Yorkin like they did back in the day. And I just want to see that again. But apparently that's not going to happen because of like you guys said, society and stuff. But if
did
they have
y'all
like a fitness, if like a fitness
I'm sorry, did y'all
competitor,
hear when I was saying
No,
oh
you went
no,
out.
go,
You went
go,
out for it. You went
uh,
out for it
but
because you
I
were
was
hearing
trying to
people.
say I was trying to say that female bodybuilders are also very stiff. They're not very great. Well, especially these bigger, bulkier ones nowadays, they're not necessarily built and athletic enough to do a lot of the action level stunts that you would think that they should be able to do. Like I draw boxing women all the time, and I've had some of the female bodybuilders I've worked with like try to pose for that type of stuff, and even just doing still poses for that, they're very awkward and stiff and tight with their body. So I think maybe when if they are auditioning, because we don't know, that like I'm pretty sure a lot of them are not auditioning because they're not putting themselves out there. But even the ones that are, they may, even though they may look super muscular, the studios may be like, bro, we can't sell her in an actual fight scene. Like they should have
I've
had a
been,
female bodybuilder play She-Hulk instead of using a CGI one.
I'm sorry. Been on auditions. Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can
Can
hear
you
you
hear
yeah.
now.
me?
Hmm.
I'm sorry. I've been to auditions. Trust me. If you're really good at your auditions, regardless if you're muscular or not, and if the role calls it depends on the role you go for. If the role calls at you to be lean or no muscles, and the producers will tell you they're gonna be like, oh, let's say Andrea. Oh, Andrea, you did a great job in your audition and everything. This role calls for you to be a mother and everything. Are you willing to lose the muscles for the film? And she has to say yes or no. That's it. You know what I'm saying? And if she's willing to do that, then that's great. But like I said, but again, she will be in a movie. If she accepts the role, that means she just have to lose some muscle tones and everything for the role. And if she's in an action film that requires her to pack on the muscles, they'll be like, okay, we just want you to lose maybe 5% of your muscle tones. And then she says if she agrees to it, then that's great. It depends on the role. It really depends on the role and everything and what they call for. Some of them will be like, nah, we like you just the way you are. Come in as you are, grow.
Yeah.
So it's just about them going to the auditions. That's what it's all about. If they got the confidence, they could. But like I said, the only way for the sport to grow, they have to be mainstream. These athletes, male and female, they have to again because it's sad that last time Arnold been Miss Olympia was nearly 50 years ago, which is 1980. God, I'm telling my age. And that in the mainstream media, that's all they think about who's Miss Olympia. Arnold Schwarzenegger.
This is
because
young lady that me and George interviewed, and she's a bikini competitor, and she's interested in want to put herself out there as an actress, and
Mhm.
but she did some work, and she started bodybuilding not too long ago, competing, and yeah, so
Yeah,
I
Chantel.
think they should do. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Chantel.
I was gonna say
Yeah,
I think they should do CrossFit. Like more CrossFit women should be in, like how they had in the Wonder Woman movie, because
yeah.
CrossFit girls are very muscular and they're athletic as hell.
But
I
then
think
is
a little
again,
more
are
Or a
muscular
they
women
fitness
good?
had the
competitor.
Justice League movie, as I can remember, both versions.
Yeah. The thing is, if they're like you said earlier, if they have the personality and if they're stiff, it'd be the same because CrossFit girls not too far from female bodybuilders, even though the level of muscle is different. If they don't have that same personality, where they can when they go on to it, like my man, talked to my man while he just came back. He left the scene the crown by his back. If they don't have
Mhm.
that same personality, like that's why many of the ladies were just more like extras. They didn't have too many speaking
Hmm.
roles because most of the actors, only the one person who had a speaking role, but she wasn't a bodybuilder, that was Anne Brown Sugar Wolf, where she played Artemis. She was one of the Amazons, and she's a big woman. I mean, she fought back in the day. There's a video of her when she knocked out 6'6" Vonda Ward, and that is, it was just.
Ann Wolf is the hardest hitting female boxer of all time. Like I think she could
Mhm.
knock out Clarissa Shields.
I
Like
think they compared her to, I think they compared her to Ernie Shavers, who was probably one of the hardest
yeah,
hitting guys.
she's the female Ernie Shavers.
Yeah,
She's also from Texas.
yeah, yeah. Whoop de but
Yeah, whoop-de-doo.
but here we have here is one of my favorite documentaries, and that is Supersize She. That came in around about the early 2000s. It
Mine too. It
stars.
was. I remember that when it first came out. Yeah, Joe.
It's
Rest in peace, Joanna Thomas. She
Joanna
was very
Thomas.
young, one of the youngest at the time.
yeah,
Oh
and
yeah.
yeah, it was we used to be called TLC, and used to show about every other week. And here she is.
Oh yeah, that reminds me. I once.
Joanna's parents have equally strong views on the subject.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not agreeing with it all. I wouldn't take an aspirin unless I had to. If any sport was a definite no-no on drugs, everybody would be equal.
Unfortunately not.
Yeah, but it's up to the individual to take. It's up to the individual to take that on, and they face the
This
consequences.
is the standard that the judges want. If the winners have got to be that shape, that size, that bulk, then they're going to do what they can to get to that condition.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean you should get involved with that.
Yes, but then they're not going to get anywhere if they don't. You know, deep down nobody wants to do it. There you go.
Hey, Peter. How you doing? Tired, all right. You look fantastic. Thanks, hey. Very, very lean. 1 week out. It's 135.
To be at her best contest shape, Joanna must not have any fat between her skin and muscles. She visits her nutritionist for a measurement.
The only place you seem to be holding still is in your back.
Yeah, it's always the same way.
Yeah.
If I get in this Olympia, I have 3 more weeks after this, so I was going to try and just get that little bit off.
Yeah.
Joanna's aiming for 3% body fat, an incredibly low level compared to the recommended 18% minimum for women. It could also be dangerous for her health.
3% probably for a female isn't extremely healthy. When you go below 10.9, you start losing your menstrual cycle, and that's a sign that the hormones are off a bit. So they're pushing the envelope.
2.6.
She looks fantastic, and if she does it for a short period of time, she's good. If she does it for too long, she'll pay the price for it.
You didn't feel fantastic.
Joanna's current regime runs the risk of damaging her vital organs.
I've lost a total of 30 pounds in 16 weeks. Because I want to be the best in the world. I'm an athlete. I want to win. And I will push and push and push and push myself until I have to. And if it means that I get sick at the end, I do. And I know that I can win that show. I know I can win that GNC. I know it. Because I have to think that way to go through what I'm doing.
Well, she was an amazing lady. I was a fan of hers. I mean, she had a great music, great look to her. She was very aesthetically pleasing. but she passed away about a few years ago. A lot of people were shocked, but she was dealing with some medical issues previously. But she was, I would say, really her documentary kind of shed a light, especially around about it was the early 2000s. About the story of women doing bodybuilders. Like it was the 21st century pumping iron too. But it was more of about one competitor. I think I see some other ladies does some documentaries down low. Here a man, Raheem Hamilton is back. Welcome back.
Thanks. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
And not,
Sorry about
but
that.
not just that's all right. But not just in, you have other media platforms, comics. Also, you look at video games. A lot of like Alex and you and Royce, you do illustrations and you take this image of women who are muscle or athletic.
Yeah, that'd be a good route to go. Video game, because I'm a gamer.
Yeah, there's
there's been a lot of female muscle in video games recently as well, besides anime
yeah,
and recent animations. Like
yeah,
Zelda,
and
Breath of the Wild games, like you should see the Gyarados. For you may remember Ocarina of Time. I mean, they looked like, but
yeah,
now this
yeah.
newer games they got stronger and to represent that Amazonian vibe they were going with, which I'm actually good. I'm good with actually because that kind of fits their personalities actually.
Yeah,
Remember,
in two of the video games I've played recently, the Undisputed, that boxing game, and then also Diablo, they give you templates. You can create like very muscular, and if you want like thick and muscular, like giant type of Amazonian women. So they give you like different types of body. So they'll give you like a small, slender, muscular type of woman if that's what you want. And then they also have normal options too. But then they also advance it to where you can add some thickness and size to them. So it is pretty cool. It's becoming way more common in video games recently.
Yeah, they tried doing that for several games like The Sims. They tried doing that, but they had their limitations back then.
Where you got to play
yeah,
games
there
like
used to
WWE
be
2K and stuff, and Saints
Yeah.
Row.
WWE
it
did it
used
good, man. They did it
They
real
got it
good
down
with the
pat.
muscle woman. Yeah.
there used to be a game I used to play. It was I know that game. It's the back of my head. It has this one character. Her name is Ivy, and she was tall, short blonde hair. She used to
Soul
have that
Calibur.
whip.
Soul Calibur.
Soul
Yeah,
Calibur.
Soul
Soul
Calibur.
Calibur.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she used to have that whip chain, and she was like, if you
Hmm.
look at her, she's like maybe a figure competitor or maybe
Hmm.
bikini. I used to play her because sometimes me and my brothers and my nephews used to play tournaments, and they'll pick their players like or we play like Mortal Kombat, and or I would pick Sonya Blade, and I would be killing with Sonya Blade. My my nephew, my oldest nephew loved Raiden. My younger brother, he was either Luke King or Johnny Cage, and my other nephew was either Scorpion or Sub Zero. But or I picked Kano sometimes. It was depending whoever I felt like I wanted to play.
Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance had a Batwoman. Her name was Nitara, I believe. She was tall and she was like a bodybuilding type of build, more like a figure physique bodybuilding build. But
Street
she was
Fighter.
super cool.
Did we forget that Street Fighter has muscular women too? Particularly Cammy
Chun
Fight.
Li.
Chun-Li,
Yeah, Chun Li for her legs, basically her legs.
her
That's what
legs are
she's.
quads. Those
Yeah, Chung
she
Lee's more like a wellness competitor.
And now
Yeah.
they're making
yeah,
a
So,
making a new
gentlemen,
Street Fighter movie. I hear. I hope they stick. I hope
so
they stick
gentlemen,
with
I'm
the
sorry to
source
interrupt.
material this time.
So, gentlemen, I'm sorry to interrupt. So, let me ask you this $100 million question. What who do y'all feel will be a good marketing female bodybuilder that Hollywood could take and utilize? I throw that out to you
None right
guys.
now. None. None.
Ooh.
I can't see any. I don't see any right now. None. Zero.
well, I got a lady I'm really cool with, and she's done music videos and stuff. Her name is Andrea Sauer, and she
I was just
actually
about to
did
say
some
her.
music. Yeah, she actually she sent me this link because she worked with a company, a while back, and she and also another bodybuilder, a lady I interviewed a while back also. they also did a music video together with a rapper, and that's Andrea with some other ladies, and also
Okay.
it's called HD Films. That's her in the middle, and I think there's one of the other ladies here too, and a couple other ladies, and also if you remember Maria Lieberman, she also did some commercials and stuff. And even she was, if I could find it, she did.
Commercials. Commercials. Yeah, they portrayed these muscle women. They had quite a history with them, and sometimes I would say they were a mixed result. Some came out fine, but some came out when you're advertising the product, the way how they portray them is.
Or somebody like her that you got on screen right now. She'd be good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she also she did some music videos and stuff, and also remember there was a couple commercials. It was Joe Crabshack with Betty
Betty
Carasso.
Carasso was in that one. Yes, the muscles joke. Yes, that one.
And another one with I think it was Bud Light. I forgot. I just can't remember the lady who was in it. And I remember one. There's one. It was actually he played it in overseas. It's one with Linda Murray, and I think it was either for Wendy's. I think it was.
Yes, the black. Yes, the black. Yeah, she was in the black bean burger commercial. Yeah, she was. What about protein? Yeah, I remember I remember it. Yeah, I remember.
So what's wrong with your current Miss Olympia and Ashley Jones? Why y'all don't say them?
Guys, I am not making this up. I remember. Linda Murray actually made a cameo in an Adam Sandler movie.
Yeah.
Yes.
Chris Morrell was in a movie. Chris Morrell was in one of them.
Netflix movie called, that Western movie they parodied, the Ridiculous, whatever it's called, Ridiculous Six or something. It's about
The Ridiculous Eight. The Ridiculous Eight. You're talking about?
Yeah. Apparently, Linda Murray made a brief cameo. She played the mother of one of long lost brothers.
Yeah, but she was retired. But you're talking about retired. What about current? Okay, what about the current ones? Like, again, you have to push your current
Natalia
athletes.
Cuejo, she's great.
What about Ashley Jones? What about Andrea Shaw? I mean, both. Well, I mean, isn't Andrea Shaw 6-time Miss Olympia? Why isn't she not being marketed out in Hollywood? Wouldn't she be great for Hollywood?
Mm-hmm.
Don't she have to look?
Yeah, that's a good. Yeah, I know. That's my point. It was a brief cameo. So yeah, what's the point?
Yeah, she needs to start in
Linda
commercials. That's why I said none. It's because of all the mainstream ones right now, all the big time girls right now. I don't see the personality or the charisma to be in TV or even on like YouTube, like streams or something like podcasts, stuff that is going to get people engaged and entertained. I don't see that charisma from any of them, and I don't think they aspire to have that charisma. I think they just want to work out. Go ahead.
But this is what I'm sorry, but this is what I'm saying. This is a bright idea, and I'm going to be the bad guy of this one. I love being the bad guy. Maybe it's best that the next Mr. or Miss Olympia, you get them off for also having charisma. Like, you gotta get the ones who can go out there and promote the brand. Because if you're saying that all they like to do is pump iron and just go home, then guess what? Because the reason I say this because George, you have your female guests come on all the time. What do you hear? We're not getting enough money. We're not getting paid. We're not doing this. We're not doing that. We're not doing it. And then when you say, hey, in order for you to get paid, this is what you need to do. You have to bring in new promoters. This is what you have to do. This is the work you got to do. And if they don't want to do it, then what's the point of giving them the mic to complain about that? And then what's the point of awarding your Mr. Olympia, Mrs. Olympia if they go home?
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
remember...
So Andrea Shaw ain't complaining about the money. She loves it. So guess what? I guess every other woman should shut up. If she's not bitching and complaining about, I'm not getting paid that much, then guess what? She likes it. She loves it. Let the sport be as it is. Let it stay stagnated, and let's not even discuss no more about it.
Hey, I'm gonna jump in real quick. I want to say though, when this last time I was at the Olympia, so I think that they are shrinking again. Women's bodybuilding is shrinking again from the Olympia. It's not gonna go away completely, but when I was there, I could not even find the Wings of Strength booth. But in the years past, it was a huge booth. But this past year was the smallest it's ever been. They didn't have any of the girls there to to meet and greet the fans or anything like that. And then when I first came into the Olympia Expo, because I came in a little bit late on the first day, I remember seeing a bunch of bodybuilders walking out. And these were mostly dudes, but they were with some women, like wellness competitors. But apparently the female bodybuilders had just gotten off stage. I didn't know this until one of the dudes had said, why do they keep awarding basically he wasn't nice about it. He's like, why don't they let the pretty ones win? He basically was like, why are they always letting the ugly ones
Oh, that
win?
was wow.
That was kind of harsh, man.
Hey,
Wow.
hey, it's harsh. It's harsh, but it's harsh. But this is what the average, and he's a competitor himself. But he's not Olympia level, and he was with other muscular women with him, but they weren't bodybuilders. But even amongst other fitness competitors, they look at the female bodybuilders that are winning and they don't see them as appealing to the audience. And I know for a fact, the mainstream audience, when you're in the crowd with them, a lot of times the girls who, like when Kayla was bringing up earlier, the girls who sometimes get placed 8th place, I've seen and heard even boos when people are like, even if they're not related to that girl, but she's the most attractive. And they're not saying she should have won the whole thing, but some of them do display some stage charisma with their performance. But a lot of times those girls that do display all that, they place like 8th or 9th or 12th. They get discouraged, and then they don't really want to compete that much more. The judges don't give a crap about, to me, they don't care about charisma. They don't care about beauty. They don't care about if the girl can actually sell the brand of the sport of women's bodybuilding to a massive audience. I don't think they care about that at all.
That's the problem. For one thing, for that guy, he can kiss my whole you know what. And you know, you're not even an Olympian level competitor. You're not even on the stage. If you're on the stage at that Olympia, you can say something. But other than that, you're just some little hammer egger.
We don't know if he was commenting on Andrea though, because he was just talking about.
I'm like this. I'm good like this. Hey, you might be talking
Okay,
about,
but hear me out, guys. Listen, George. I get. Listen. Let me tell you something. Let homie say what he want to say. You know what I'm saying? Hear me out. Just hear me out right now. Hear me out.
Yeah, calm down, Jim. Calm down.
Hold on, George. I feel you. And I'm not gonna go. I'm not gonna. But I'm not gonna go tit for tat. You're right, but let the man speak his mind. Hear me out. Hear me out. I want to hear me out. Hear me out. I let the man speak his mind, because sometimes you gotta remember. Sometimes some of these, like you said, some of these female bodybuilders, they think y'all guys are schmoes, they're losers and all this stuff, and it's kind of fucked up. You know, it's kind of fucked up that they will say that because y'all guys are fans of theirs, but they want to judge y'all right away of being smokes, losers, stalkers, and none of that and everything. But yeah, if someone says, "Oh, I don't like the way they look too manlish and everything," you can't be sensitive. It's not one way sheet where I have to be sensitive, but you want to talk shit about me, talk about how I'm a schmo because I'm a fan of female bodybuilder. Nah. Pump your brakes. You know, you can't do that. And then, like I said, again and again, you gotta let it be.
Yeah, but still, as a fan, it feels like, some of these ladies I have become friendly with, we become friends, we talk. They tell me some of them do complain, but the thing is, they're concerned if they say something, they're gonna get blacklisted or blackballed. I can't hold that against them, but at the same time, you need to speak up for yourself. And again, I built this shit, me, bit by bit.
Facts.
Yeah, but the thing is, I think, like with the thing with the Wing to Strength, Jake is more focused on the Olympia part, because he used to have Wing to Strength from YouTube channel, but now it's the Olympia. The thing is, was also the ladies wouldn't really contribute as much as they should have, knowing that each of the time the money to build this, but they're pulling away from it. Now you still have a few who still wanted to, but the others just feel like if you don't fight, I say this, if you don't fight for this for yourself, don't expect nobody else to.
The only person that's fighting is Natalia Quayle. I tip my hat off, even though she went to local.
Yeah.
Listen. She went to local television And like I said, you did not see not one people those interviewers say you look like a man. Oh, you discussed it. It's I keep telling you, all this stuff is in these ladies' head, and you got these ladies got to stop. They got to get their asses off of social media. Stop arguing with these dudes because the same dudes that let me tell you right now, the same dudes that say they look like a man, I guarantee you, I put my money on those same dudes that send them dick pics. So my thing is this: if I tell a woman you look like a man,
Oh
I'm not
my
sending dick
God.
pics. I'm not doing that shit, and these ladies know that. So it doesn't make sense. It does. So what I'm saying is get off social media. There's other platforms. Natalia Quayle showed y'all that I could go to local television, interview, represent my sport, and get more looks out there. She's from
And not
South
just
Florida, so you gotta. Next thing you know, she might go mainstream. She
and
might
not
go
only
mainstream everything.
and not only Italia, Sherry Piami did it a while back. Linda
Okay.
Murray was on a thing. It's quite a few, but it's just
Linda,
that
nah, Linda was on and off. I
well,
saw it throughout the '90s. Linda was,
yeah.
George.
But
Linda
still,
was
but
on
still,
and
but
off.
still, it's Linda
She
Murray.
did it.
She just did a thing a while back for the Rising Phoenix with a newscast. Even though she's not competing, she still in a way represents the
But
sport. Being that she's an
yeah,
eight-time
but you
Olympian,
wonder.
she's a
Mhm.
promoter. Yes, I know what you want, but still, as long as someone like that, who's like, if you I said earlier, Rachel McLeish, she's distancing herself from bodybuilding,
Let me
then
also, George. Let me. Sorry, I'm gonna say. Let me tell you how I want to just curse. How fucked up the promoters are. You had 3 Miss Olympias from the state of Michigan, and you don't even want to promote that. Like Miss Olympia, the home to 10-time Michigan, the home to 10-time Miss Olympia, Iris Cal, 8-time Linda Murray, 6-time Andrea Shaw. Like that's a marketing goal right there. Like anybody, like wow, we got 3 women who won Miss Olympia, and they're all from Michigan. Like
Is
that's
that a
come
marketing
on,
goal,
man.
or is that just
You
showing
can
that
you can
one of the judges is biased
if
towards
you if you
Michigan,
if
or if they're
no no
paying
if
them
you
off?
yeah, you could, that could be true too. But if you're
That
marketing,
sounds like some shady stuff to me.
nah, I say if you're a marketing genius, you're marketing the sport. 'Cause remember, Michigan is what the city. It's the state where Detroit Pistons play at, the Red Wings, the Detroit Lions, who are doing fabulous. You could be like, okay, all 3 teams are doing well. Guess what? Bodybuilding, we got 3 of the top female bodybuilders who won Miss Olympia from this state, and then it's like that's a marketing genius. But guess what? The IFBB is they fucked up. Like I mean, come on, seriously.
that's
You know how much
the
money
problem.
I could have
Bro,
brought in?
The problem
to have
is as long as you have someone like Jim Mannion sitting at the top, you don't have anybody who wants to be more. He got his grandson, but his grandson he just followed the lead. Right now the even posted the commentary for women's physique or women's bodybuilding after Olympia. And it's been just a month because they posted on the NPC News Online, and usually they post the other divisions. Uh, and the thing is, you got to have people who wanted and willing to step up and push that. One thing about Ben Weeder was he wasn't a big fan of how women bodybuilding was going, but he still promoted it and he still supported them because you know what, it was it was in time it was a growing popular division. And I think after that, when both Ben and Joe died, the rest were just basically just not doing enough like they should to promote either men's bodybuilding or women's bodybuilding. You really lost. One point, Joe was hoping to try to get bodybuilding to the Olympia, but the Olympics. But whatever reason, because everybody would say the use of performance enhancers and stuff like that. But still, you can't forget about Ben Johnson. You can't forget about Marion Jones, the whole German East German swim team. As against steroids, it doesn't help
That
you.
was never going to happen, Joe. That was never going to happen, Joe. I mean, George.
Yeah,
That
I
go.
know, I
Yeah,
know.
bodybuilding
I
is
remember
not a
that. That was
sport.
never going to happen because of
Bodybuilding
the
is not a
performance.
sport.
Just like they
Yeah,
was trying to do.
Bodybuilding's not a sport.
Just like they was trying to get
No,
the
it's a
NFL to
pageant.
the.
It's a
Remember,
pageant.
George. Remember,
Bodybuilding's a pageant.
George.
It's both.
Hey, George. Yeah, it's both. But George, remember they was trying to get the NFL into the Olympics, and they said nope, that was not going to happen
yeah.
because the other world don't know what football is. They know the other football. So
But they know they did take out baseball, even though other countries have played it. They took out a few years ago, but I think they're supposed to be bringing back that and softball. Because not enough countries play it. Now, we don't play cricket because that's not our sport.
Exactly.
Yeah, soccer.
they took out breakdancing, man. They took out
Well, that you
breakdancing.
know
My
what?
God.
That was the one-off.
That was a mess. What happened with that woman? She messed it up for everybody.
Basically.
That was a trolling. They were trolling with that. They sat there and did the breakdancing thing to kind of shit on the whole culture. I think that was
Yeah.
a PR bullshit. Anyway, what I wanted to get into is the whole sports analogy, not saying about the whole bodybuilding is or isn't a sport, but if you look at those three women winning what 20 something total Olympias out of what the whole total of 30 something that there may have been total, that's like an NFL team. That's like the Patriots winning 80 or 90 championships of the whole 100 that the NFL or 100 plus that the NFL has had. That screams to me that someone somehow there's some kind of money involved that's purposefully rewarding these women coming out of Michigan. And the thing that will sell it to me even more is that if after Andrea's done, if another like 8-time Olympian woman comes out and she's also from the state of Michigan, that just screams corruption. There's some kind of bias going
There you
on.
go, BC, with this conspiracy. There you go,
Yep.
BC, with this conspiracy, bro.
Yep. Hey, I don't shy
Kill the
away from it
conspiracy,
at
bro.
all. I don't shy away from it. There's a lot of money involved in this stuff.
Yeah, here we got a guest here. My man, shout out my brother XA Gucci 23 says happy Monday, George, Paige, and panel. Thank you, brother. Thank you for. And that thing is that as I often call the men's division, is the bottom bitch. It's the one that brings in the cash, bringing the dad. It brings money in for daddy. That's Jim Mannion. He sits on the top. He's the head man. And people like like you saw that Arnold, he rises the prize money for his show for nearly almost a little over nearly $1 million. And the thing is that it was bodybuilding that got him his fame, because you go back to his early stuff. I remember I actually saw somebody said it was a clip of him. He did an episode of one of the old Lucille Ball shows where he played Rico. Then he did the movie. Mikhail talked about it. He did the movie Hercules, New York, and also there's quite a few bodybuilders like guys like Steve Reeves, Lou Ferrigno, who were bodybuilders. I think there was another guy. I forgot his name. What was that guy? Can you remember the other guy who was also did Hercules?
I forgot.
Yeah.
It was a lot of them that did that shit.
Yeah, and then you had Kevin Sorbo, but he wasn't a bodybuilder. And here's the thing about Kevin Sorbo, he actually auditioned for the role of the Superman in Lois and Superman Clark, the New Venture Superman, but he got turned down.
So, George, don't forget Lou Ferrigno played Hercules too.
Yeah, I know. I remember I said that. Lou Ferrigno, he was the Hulk.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was the Hulk. The Hulk I grew up with. Hulk. I still remember watching at the end of it. We see Bill Bixby walking down the aisle and playing the dun 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 dun. You're like, I hope he found it cute. And those.
Did you ever notice that George? Did you notice when he did when Lou did the Death of the Incredible Hulk? He was bigger than when he did the other two movies, The Trial and the Return of the Hulk. I think he was going back to his competition when he was he was coming out of retirement when he did the Death of the Incredible Hulk. Because if you look at those two TV movies, like The Return of the Incredible Hulk and the Trial of it, the Death, he was much bigger compared to the other two TV movies. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing things.
Actually, that was the year when he competed at the Masters Olympia, and that was I think in 95, 94. Yeah, he was coming back to compete for a few more times, and also he voiced the Incredible Hulk in the animated series. He had roles in both the MCU and also the Columbia Pictures Hulk, the one with
and he also did the voice for Hulk in the Edward Norton, and also a little bit in the Avengers.
Yeah, and this is what somebody told me. This version of the Avengers version of the Hulk was based on the physique of Lee Priest.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, because they went with Lee Priest's physique for this Hulk. The other one was more like out of the comics. The one with Ed Norton. Some people say
that one was a better one. That version was way better because he was more lean, and he was more built. That's how. Let me tell you what really attract people off of bodybuilding when they started going into, this is not just female but also the male. By the mid 90s, when they start getting as big as they are, that's what attracted people up. Because don't get me wrong, it's the bodybuilders from the 70s, 80s. You can't get that way unless you do performance enhancing, but truth be told, you can't get a V shape, because when I started bodybuilding, I started getting a V taper. I started getting as aesthetics. So so Arnold was like, I can get there, but I can't get there. Like, I can at least get closer to Arnold. And if you did,
Yeah,
even if you didn't do no steroids, you could at least get close. Like you can. The V taper will show. You will start. You know, depending on your genetics, your legs can grow. All that stuff. So when it was more Arnold's physique was more reachable for an average guy if he wanted to go to work out compared to like a Rodney Coleman, a Lee Priest. When they started, man, the other guy had skipped my name. When they started getting big, that's when it's like, nah, I can't be like that. 'Cause let me say something right now. When I was bodybuilding, a lot of girls were like, don't get big, don't get big. I was like, what? It's like, yeah, that's not attractive. Be lean and muscular, but don't get big. That was
because they
every
look
woman
too
I used to
blocky.
date and rock with. They just say that. Yes.
Today's version is way too blocky. So Arnold is streamlined. Arnold's build looks more like he can sell to you that you would believe that a human hunter looks like that, like an apex hunter from Greek mythology or something like that looks more like that. Whenever you think of someone like that or a hero type of physique, you don't think of Ronnie Coleman and Phil Heath and Jay Cutler because it's like a boulder. They look like boulders and they don't look like they can actually move. So there
You need
is, I
somebody
agree.
like a
Go
Fabio
ahead.
or something.
Well, Fabio
More of
wasn't so
that
much a
build,
bodybuilder. He was just, a pretty
kind
Italian
of just
man. That's what
lean
he
and
was.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Like right now, the classic
But
physique in men, people like the classic physique more right now because it looks more like it's a throwback to the old.
And this is where we put the finger on the button. Is that if the women had that achievable physique or that achievable maybe I can't get to her, but at least I can get that V shape. I can maybe get some muscles. But if you get bigger and bigger, then yeah, that's why Hollywood is not even dealing with male bodybuilders right now. And you look at it because
Hmm.
like he said, like BC said, they're too blocky. They, you can't. What can you utilize them? Arnold, like I said, Arnold can be in a role where he looks like an intimidating person, or he can tone down his muscles and be a dad and jingle all the way.
Yep.
These guys,
Yep.
if you cast Rodney Coleman, it's going to be near the next to impossible for him to lose all that muscles.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And then you also
Yeah.
remember, right now, it's. Let me explain something right now. That type of bodybuilder, the hell with performance enhancement, bro. It's like you obese with muscles. It's like
Yeah.
that's the problem. That is the huge problem because you can't. Your body cannot take that much food intake as it is, and all that muscles because your heart is going to crash. And they keep saying it's a healthy lifestyle. Today's bodybuilding is not a healthy
Nah.
lifestyle and I'm not
No,
talking.
it's
Like I
not.
said, I'm not talking about the performance enhancement. What really going to kill you is the food intake. Your body. Remember, you're going to have. You'll be like an obese person with muscle, but you're borderline or you have diabetes. You can't. It's like next to impossible to control your stuff. So it's
Yeah,
like
look how
scary these
big their
days.
guts are. Their guts are huge, man. Like big old gorilla guts.
He
Yeah,
said,
yeah. I think the one thing was I know a lot of people didn't like the fact that Derek Lungford won the Mr. Olympia. They said actually they said that Andrea Shaw was
his
better
biceps were
conditioned.
off.
Yeah, Andrea Shaw was better conditioned than Lungford, and they said that Samson should have been the Mr. Olympia again because he looked more because he's a taller guy, he had great aesthetics. But that's the thing is that you know the judges do have, we talked about earlier, judges do have a lot of control when it comes to who they want to pick and who they feel like works for them. That's something that unless the athletes speak up about it, it's not going to change too much. So we got here, shout out to my man, Hank the Tank 5 says, Love Lies Bleeding was a really good movie, even from just non-bodybuilding perspective. Really entertaining, reminded me of Thelma and Louise. Yes, me
Yeah,
and Kale talk about
I
that
saw
movie.
it in theaters last year. I thought that was a pretty good movie. I like how it took place in the 80s, which ironically, was the start of women's bodybuilding. I thought that was a good setting choice. And yeah, it was a very psychological movie about,
Mhm.
how much the lifestyle and sport can affect a person, even when they do.
I I didn't get it. I'm not going to deny. I didn't get it. I was like, what the hell is this stuff? It was all over the place. That movie was all over the place. I checked it out. I luckily I saw it HBO Max, and I was like, yeah, I don't understand this. Like, you killed the brother of your lover, and yeah. So it was just, and then you grow big. Is that like you physically big, like a giant, or is that in your mind? It was just all over the place. Like, Trust me, I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's kind of artsy. My man Kiel, he talks about it on his channel. I
Was
know
it?
a
It
lady
was
who I know.
uh,
She actually was in the movie. Monica Perez. She told me about it. She had a bit role. She was one of the female bodybuilders. She had to really cover her body because she has a lot of tattoos. I'm gonna pull this up. One lady who people might remember back in the day. My man, shout out to my man Keith. He talked to Mr. Chris Morale. And if you remember Chris Morale,
Yeah.
he's
she
one of
was
the
in that
bodybuilders.
too. I mentioned
So
that last
Yeah.
week.
yeah,
My goodness, she was the butt of, she couldn't, there were too many jokes about her being a man in this one. Like, I lost count how many times they did that.
yeah. This here with Carlos Mencino. I was at Carlos Mencino. You know, it was a running joke. Like remember the movie Scary Movie? They did the same thing. But
Oh,
Chris,
you talking about
if
Miss
you've seen
Man? Miss
her,
Man, that was funny.
Chris
Yeah,
Morel.
that was fine. That was fine, honestly, because it was a parody. It knew what it was doing. This movie
Chris
was like,
Morel. I'm sorry, man. I was just saying, Chris Morel had good stage performance. She could actually dance, and I've seen her in person. She's actually very attractive, extremely attractive.
yeah.
yeah,
But
she does look pretty cute. So what's this whole man? Where is this meant to be?
Because his thing is people when anytime a woman builds muscle, it's equated with being masculine, being a man. It's not. Because the fact is, I'm a man, but I don't have muscles. I got boobs bigger than some women. It's about what they feel. It's like right here we have like Christy Hawkins, and she was a attractive lady, great physique, great body. Both these
She was
ladies
my crush
were,
back in the days. Damn,
yeah,
Christy Hawkins.
both
Christy.
Chris. Yeah, I think there was one point I saw something she posted where I thought she might return and compete, but it was just she just was I think was just renewing her Ivory Pro status. It was people because she does a lot of powerlifting now, and you see a lot of women in powerlifting and CrossFit. We mentioned earlier how the movie Wonder Woman had powerlifters and CrossFitters. It's just it's all depending what Hollywood feels is comfortable with. And we talked about earlier how back in the day you just saw female bodybuilders on talk shows like Maury Povich had some a couple of times. Geraldo, Julie Jones, one of the biggest female bodybuilding
Jason
fans.
Myers.
Yeah, was Montel Williams because he had
Montel Williams. He had Nicole Bass. Yeah, I remember that
he had
episode.
every episode got picked up by Dota Marie. She always used to lift
It,
him up.
it, it's
Oh
not about
yeah.
Hollywood, bro. Listen. Zack Snyder. If a female bodybuilder auditioned for Wonder Woman, remember Zack Snyder was like a producer. If they wanted to audition for those roles with the warrior, with the Amazon warriors, they could have gotten it too. Like I said, it's not. It's like I said, it depends on where they going for the audition. If they jump on it, trust me, Zach would have been like, yeah, I like her look. I think
I
she'd be
don't know.
good.
I don't know. I think Zack Snyder likes. I think he likes more. I think he only hires women that he's attracted to, and he likes
Nah,
more the normal, slender.
that's more. No, if you saw Wonder Woman, he actually did hire, like George said, he did hire the physique
But
woman.
Wonder
But
Woman
like I said,
didn't. Zack Snyder didn't do that. He didn't direct
No,
that. Like,
he was just
Catherine.
no,
That's
no.
Catherine.
Okay, let me. Okay, guys, let me explain something to you how the movie works. I do film. The director 9 out of 10s don't always. It's the producers and the casting agents that cast it. The director just direct. Now, Patty Jenkins, she just direct. Zach was executive producer. He also can do. He can give her suggestions. Cast this woman. Cast that woman. You know what I'm saying? So when you saw the difference when Zach was executive producer, he was in control of Wonder Woman, and when Patty Jenkins had full control of Wonder Woman when she did 84. You see it like it's night and day. So if any female bodybuilder wanted to jump on the roles of the Amazons, they could have. It would happen. But again, they're not going. I give my
I
hat. I
think.
take my. Go ahead.
I think
Sorry.
the closest that if there's going to be a superstar coming from any of the women's competitive divisions, I think it's going to come from wellness. I think
No, go to
some of the
fitness.
wellness. I don't know about fitness, but I think the wellness girls are getting very popular, really, really popular, and it's
That is
blowing
true.
up.
It is.
And a lot of them, because a lot of them are Brazilian, from meeting several of them in person, they are a lot more friendly and engaging with fans than the standoffish American and Western type women. And I can see their personalities rubbing off to, say, a studio executive to be like, hey, have you ever thought about auditioning for a role or something like that? Because they're super beautiful, look strong, and they have very much more welcoming personalities. Like most Brazilian girls, if you go up to them at the shows, if you go tap on their shoulder or say, hey, as a fan, they don't turn around and look at you as a man and be like, what do you want? Not another one. They generally are like, oh, hi, and then they like the fact that you uh, like their muscle and stuff. They're on their guard for creeps and stuff, but they just don't seem to be as stuck up as most Western or American women.
Okay. We got a comment from man Hank the Tank 5. He says the new Superman movie had a female henchman engineer who had really toned abs. One lady I
She
remember
wasn't
who
buff though.
really
She wasn't
it
buff.
was for one lady who actually got a lot of attention for her muscle was on a reality show, and that was former 8-time Miss Olympia figure champion Sid Gillen. And Sid, she did Survivor, and and later on, she started competing. She was always training, working out, but then later on, it was around by a little bit before she became the Miss Olympia figure champion 8 times. And Sid, she's a businesswoman. She, her and Andrea run the Triple O Dynasty. I mean, and she also runs other shows. Sid, if she really wants to, I could see her. She could probably be the better woman fighting in Captain America. When you think,
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah, she's generally great personality. I've reached out a few times, for interviews. She charges you. You have to pay to get her on it. It's like, I can't pay, I can't afford it. But I think this is somebody I think will definitely, if she's thinking about really getting into it, she can probably be a Hollywood star. Yeah.
Yep, sure
And,
can.
yeah. And here she is with Rhea Gale, my girlfriend, and Michelle Messiah. And Michelle Messiah also does some modeling and stuff like that. She did some commercials and stuff.
There
If
you
you
go.
follow, yeah,
Michelle
because
Messiah.
she's a lovely lady. I think she has a look to her. Great muscle, very feminine. She's a mom. Was a Olympic level, almost Olympic level competitor for her country, Great Britain. This is somebody. Maybe put her in Black
Like an
Panther
action movie or
3
something.
and be
Yeah.
one of. Yeah, she could be one of Dora Milaje. Because she does she does a lot of she does a Black Panther routine. I can see her.
Yeah, she looked
But
like
the
Don't
thing
make
is,
her cut off her hair though. Don't make her cut off her hair.
All right, you got
well, she can put like a skin cap or something. She won't be all the way bald. But they probably have to make her cut off the hair. Al. It's up to her. But she can always play like a side character, But here we got here shot to my man. Hank Tank says, "Good point, BC. I've been to many bodybuilding shows, and I have noticed certain women physique athletes can be standoffish when approached by fans. The ladies in the fitness division are friendly, though. Yeah, I know. A while back, a young lady who, as I mentioned earlier, she just got her first Olympic qualification. Her name is Jessica Machado. I think that's the name. I hate to mess up the name. She actually,
shout
when
out
I
to
posted,
her.
yeah, she started following me on IG, and anytime when they like when we do the prejudging or the finals and stuff like that, I always post the pictures and tag them. And she didn't I saw her like you look in your area where you look at your notification, it pops in. Wait a minute, who's that? And I click this. Oh, she was competing today. Oh, she started following me. She's Brazilian. She doesn't speak English. And that's the thing is, would love to do an interview with her, but the other thing is, you lose a lot in translation when you're talking to somebody from another country.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, gentlemen, I'm not gonna hold you up too much. Y'all have anything y'all viewpoints you want to share before we let y'all go?
Nah, that's
Nah.
about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, women bodybuilding in general, be it men or women, it's always going to be under fringe. But if you have people like one lady I forgot to mention, Sue Price, who I had a pleasure interviewing. She was in the movie, the Nemesis movies, and she played Alex. And that was, you should catch him on like come on like on like with Showtime, like late at night, because usually I get home from work late for my night job, and it used to sometimes, especially on the weekends, I wasn't ready to sleep there because I wasn't tired. So, and I watched those movies, and they were fun to watch. I mean, and seeing her, she competed in a good part of the '90s. Great physique. Very attractive. As you know, now she's retired from bodybuilding. She, works for the Postal Service. You know, and she also in that movie, in those image movies, were a couple of other female bodybuilders, Michelle, Debbie Mugley, and Sharon Bernot. And Sharon Bernot, somebody told me mentioned her. She also still is active a little bit, but Sue's just a generally great lady. I mean, um, don't keep in contact much like we used to. Every now and then. She's a mother with two kids. They're both twins. And she did at least something. She got out of bodybuilding and had a good bit in acting. For a bit. But she even a while back she was at an event where they would recognize her character from the Nemesis movies. But she did something outside of bodybuilding. It's just you got to be willing to put yourself out there and be willing to put in the work. And Candice Blee is lady in her 60s, and she still looks amazing. I'm not saying at bodybuilding level, but still, the lifestyle, the benefits of it. Yeah, sometimes you might have something like, but she still looks great. When she took a big jump and left the sport and focused on life outside of it. Much respect to Sue Price.
That's right.
Yeah. So
Cool.
anyway, so gentlemen, I truly appreciate y'all time and being here. Um, you know, and y'all, like I said again, I do appreciate when anybody come here and share their stories and their of love. If you're a fan or you just follow the sport or you see some things on it. Oh, you are welcome to come and let me know because sometimes, right now the season's wearing down a little bit. There's only a couple more shows yet. I got to check
Yeah,
see
we
if
had a
there's any.
big weekend,
Yeah, we had a big week.
3 shows. Yep.
Yeah, it's a wrap up for women's bodybuilding for Olympic qualification. There's a couple of shows for this weekend for women's physique. One's a master show, one in Brazil that Tech Whale is helps
Promoting,
promote.
yeah.
Yeah, we have here from Man Hank the Tank. He says this. He says, "I just found out today that the 2026 New York Pro will not include women's bodybuilding. Can't say I'm surprised though, since only 3 athletes showed up to compete at that show earlier this year. Yes, I saw it. Somebody,
I saw it coming too. Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
sad.
I'll talk about that another time. I'm not going to get too much emotional about it because, ladies, you saw it coming. Come on, you have to be active. You have to be in the shows, even if it's like 6 or 7 ladies. That keeps it going. But these promoters now they got the new fit model division coming in. That's going to take up.
Oh,
Yeah, it's going to take up space and take up time. But you know what? There's shout out to Austin Carr, shout out to Alina Popa. She has 2 shows, the Rise of Phoenix, the Remaining Muscle Fest and the Alina Popa show. Shout out to Jake Wood still running the Rise of Phoenix. Shout out to Tim Gardner with his shows. Shout out to the guy who promotes um the Vancouver Island show. Hope they have it
hmm.
next year. And shout out also to Sydney and Andrea for Triple O because I saw that Whitney stepped away from it. But for you who are a fan with a muscle or just fan of bodybuilding in general, you want to see more of the movies. If you know somebody who is, don't have to be a professional bodybuilder, don't even, just somebody who has a personality, like Roy said, who has, the talent, who wants to put themselves out there, do it. Because like I said, you can't do bodybuilding forever. It's not, it's a, it's kind of limited. But Hollywood is hard to get and break into. You can go to New York, do some plays and stuff like that, maybe work that way, or just do some commercials. You gotta put yourself out there. If you don't put yourself out there, you gain nothing.
Yeah.
So
Well,
yeah. So, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you for your time. I appreciate y'all support. Again, if any of y'all who feel like you have something you want to talk about, a subject, especially concerning, you're a fan of bodybuilding, you're a fan of the divisions, like particularly, or something you feel like you really want to point out about the sport, you look at it, let me know. I'm always open for a conversation and discussion.
Thank you, George.
All
Will
right.
do.
Thank you, George.
All right, you're welcome. Shout out to my man, Kid the Wanderer. He had to step out. He's doing something. Shout out to Roy, BC Roy. Shout out to my man Josh Sinkis. Shout out to my little nephew Alex. Shout out to my man
Thank you for
Alex.
having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're always welcome. Shout out to my man Raheem Hamilton. Shout out to Hank the Tank that was here. Shout out to your support. And all you who watch this, comment, subscribe. Check me out. Support my channel. And I wish you all the best of luck. This is your man on the way, George Page, aka Emperor of Female Body Talk. Don't like, subscribe. I am out. Good night, good luck, and God bless.